An impeachment inquiry into President Trump dominated news on Capitol Hill this week. But in Arizona, Governor Doug Ducey says he doesn't want Congress to lose sight of ratifying the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement that would replace NAFTA. It's one of many issues we covered during an interview here at Arizona Public Media. We began our conversation with his attempts to keep the focus on the new trade deal.
Well, hopefully the viewers will help me pressure Arizona lawmakers. I've called out Senator Sinema with gratitude and Senator McSally with thanks, along with 4 of our 9 congresspeople who say that they are a yes on it. We put together a website, USMCAnow.org. Citizens can go to that website and use some positive peer pressure to get our legislators to say, let's get this on the floor, let's vote on this. If it does go on the floor, it will pass, and it's very important for Arizona. Everyone knows Mexico's our #1 trading partner times 4. Canada is also a valued partner, and there's 44 other governors that could be sitting in this chair that have a top 2 trading relationship with Mexico or Canada. So it's critical for the United States economy.
Some Democrats have voiced concerns about things like labor, environment standards. How closely are you watching those things to be sure that if it goes through, they're honored?
This has already been ratified by Mexico. This has been negotiated by the trade ambassadors. Let's not make perfect the enemy of very good, and a dramatic improvement over what NAFTA was. NAFTA was written 23 years ago. I call it a rotary phone agreement. This is an agreement that takes into account the cyber age, the digital age, the internet, and all the other things that we're enjoying. It's good for the United States. It's great for Arizona. It's very good for Mexico and for Mexico's labor. You can always find one issue so that you will be a no. This is a dramatic improvement on the agreement that we have today. And like I said, it's critical to our economy, and it would devastate Mexico's economy to not have this trade agreement.
Let's switch gears and talk about border security. As you know, there's construction occurring in Douglas, San Luis, Oregon Pipe. The numbers, though, for apprehensions and families seeking asylum has dropped. Is there still a need for this border construction?
Well, the numbers have dropped, but they're still large numbers. I mean, when you go from 100,000 people a month to tens of thousands of people a month, that's a dramatic drop, but we still have an issue. And when I talk about apprehensions and border security, I want to focus on the drug cartels, human trafficking, and child sex trafficking. So I do think there are parts of our border where a wall is necessary, where a physical barrier is necessary. There's other parts where we just need more boots on the ground or technology, the use of drones or satellites. But I think we should find a way that people use the proper ports of entry to enter the country, that we have the robust trade that we so enjoy, but we need to clamp down on these dangerous drugs that are coming across the border. We hear about it in a spike in methamphetamine and fentanyl and cocaine. These are important issues.
Sanctuary City, I know that you have spoken about less government is better, but you're taking a stance on this issue here in the Tucson area.
Well, my position is one that's informed by Mayor Rothschild, the Tucson City Council. I think all 3 Democrat candidates for mayor were all opposed to this idea because it could cost the city of Tucson north of $100 million. It could also hurt public safety.
You've also recognized this is a humanitarian issue, so where's the balance in all this?
Well, I think we're always going to have a humanitarian stance in Arizona, and I really want to applaud our nonprofits, our NGOs, our faith-based community, and our churches that stood so tall while we were having the humanitarian crisis at the border. That still remains. It may be lessened, it may not be in the nightly news or the national news every night, but we still have people coming across the border, some from a security standpoint, and many from a humanitarian standpoint. And we want to make sure that we always have that balance in our public policy in Arizona and in the United States.
Let's move to education. Your 20 by 2020 plan is in full swing. As we know, the Board of Regents is really touting the Teachers Academy. Still, though, there are some qualified teachers missing from in front of the classrooms. How are you measuring success thus far?
Well, we need to do more. I want to say that the 20 by 2020 plan for our hardworking Arizona teachers is nearly complete. It was 10% pay increase last year, 5% this year and 5% next year. We've been able to do all that without raising taxes. We've closed the gap in terms of where our vacancies are. There's more left to do. We have the Arizona Teachers Academy, so it says to a young person like all the wonderful young people here at U of A, if they choose education as a profession, if they serve for 5 years, they'll graduate debt-free and there will be a job waiting for them. And then we're also working with accreditation. People that are older, that have experience and skills and can bring something to the front of the classroom that they can get in front and ply their trade without having to go back to school. And we leave that decision to the principal and the superintendents.
What happens after 2020?
Well, like I said, we're never going to check the box on K-12 education. I'm someone that doesn't want to make spending the measure of success. I want us to measure how are our kids doing in math, reading, and science. Where are they in 4th grade? Where are they in 8th grade? What's our graduation rate? What's our higher attainment rate? Whether that's the U of A, career and technical education, or vocational and military pursuits. That's what we should measure. We're going to have more dollars available. 5 years ago, Lorraine, when you and I first met, our state was in a budget crisis with $1 billion deficit. Our education system was mired in lawsuits, and the economy was sluggish. Today, we sit here with $1 billion balance in the rainy day fund and $1 billion surplus in our general fund. We have options in the state of Arizona. We should make sure that we don't go on a spending spree, but that we're fiscally responsible with targeted investments, that we hold accountability for the return and the benefit of our children and our teachers.
Okay, Governor Ducey, thank you.
Thanks for having me.